Sir, 13 honourable members of Parliament have spoken from all sections of the House, and as we all know, every legislation this Parliament passes is historic in some way or the other. But I would like to mention that this is the second time in the last 100 years that we are, as a country, going to make a new companies law. By passing this bill today, this House will replace the Companies Act of 1956. Sir, many laws are made, many bills are passed, but it's pertinent to mention that this particular bill has travelled a great distance. This bill started with a report, Mr. Irani's recommendation and committee report. It was placed in Parliament, in the Lok Sabha. It went to the Standing Committee, not once, but twice. And I'm happy to report to this House that in both the Standing Committee recommendations, a total of 193 recommendations were made on this bill. 96% of the recommendations of the Standing Committee have been accepted while this bill has been made. So the need of the nation today is to create an ecosystem, is to create a regulatory environment where they are able to infuse growth. Today, a country of 1.2 billion people, as a nation we are requiring to produce between 12 to 15 million new jobs every year. And some of our colleagues have mentioned that when this bill was first made, this act was made in 1956, our economy was a command and control economy. India has travelled a great distance in the last 60 years. We are now an economy that's more than $1 trillion worth. We must, as a nation, also try and see how we are able to maintain and retain the growth momentum. And I think by making a new act on the companies, we are giving another push towards creating the impetus for growth, for prosperity, for betterment of our society. So the 21st century has brought along with it multiple challenges. India has had great amount of growth. India's place in the world is now something that the world has to reckon with. India's presence, our geopolitical presence, our economic strength is something that the whole world now not only acknowledges but admires. While in the last 18 months to 2 years our growth may have slipped, but it is also a fact that India remains the second or the third fastest growing economy for a country the size of India. While we make new legislation, sir, we have also to understand that as Indian companies are going overseas and making a mark for themselves, foreign companies are investing in India. We have got to be able to align some of the global best practices into our legislation, into our laws. The Companies Bill 2012, we have now gone into 2013 because the Lok Sabha passed this bill in December last year. This Companies Bill, the core focus of this bill is to enhance transparency, to give good corporate governance, to ensure regulation that is complied with. And I am one of those people, sir, that believe that we rather have less regulation but 100% compliance. There is no point in having 1,000 regulations and companies are only meeting half of those. So fewer, less regulations, but important ones, and then we must be very, very severe on non-compliance of those regulations. We are trying to make the system more transparent. We are encouraging self-reporting. We are encouraging more disclosures. We are looking at e-governance within the corporate governance. And the word governance has always been related to government. It is only in the last 1 or 2 decades that the word corporate governance has taken, has had a resonance in our mindset. There are many points that the honourable members have brought out, and I will try my best to respond to each of the honourable members' suggestions and views. Mr. Madhushankar Iyer spoke about a lot of things, including economic theory and how we need to understand the global reality as well as the Indian reality. So the fact is that in India today, we have more than 1 million companies. When the Act was first made in 56, there were hardly a few thousand companies. So there has been a paradigm shift in the economic landscape of our country. We did not have e-commerce even 20 years ago. So new companies have emerged, new revenue models have emerged, new technologies have emerged. So the law that we have in India today must be compliant with the latest technologies, the latest challenges, the latest innovations that are happening around the world. And we must, like I said earlier, be able to foster this growth. And more importantly, sir, to my mind, any economy that has become a developed economy has relied on these small and medium enterprises. The blue chip companies are always there for large investments and large turnovers, but whether it's Japan, Germany or US, the small and the medium enterprise companies deserve and need a lot of our attention. Therefore, a few things that we talked about, the 1% company, almost every member mentioned the new concept of 1% company. So the intent behind having this new initiative is the fact that in India, we have a lot of people who are artisans, craftsmen, weavers, and they work as individual workers. We want these people to have the same rights, the same credit facilities, the same recognition as companies without having the multiplicity of compliances. A simple artisan or a craftsman working in any part of our country should be able to avail the benefits of having an incorporation without having the complexities of the lot of disclosures and audits and reporting that large companies do. So we made a distinction between a limited company and a 1% company, which is a new initiative. And I'm hopeful that this initiative will take ground in India and encourage a lot of young people, a lot of craftsmen, weavers, artisans to take this advantage of having access to banks, access to credit facilities. So sir, all over India today, there are 6.5 lakh villages. There are not more than 38,000 bank branches in our country. How do we relate the small and medium companies, 1% companies, small entrepreneurs, young people, budding people with a lot of innovation, capacity, imagination, hard work? How do we bring them into the formal work culture of our country? This has been one of the initiatives of this bill. Sir, our Honourable Member of Parliament, Mr. VP Singh, made many suggestions regarding the auditors, the number of clauses in this bill. Sir, it's a heavy bill, and you can see this has taken some effort. But I'm happy to report to this House that while this bill was being made, no effort was spared to consult every single stakeholder. And I'm happy to confess that no legislation and no bill is perfect. But we have tried with all honesty and with all openness to include everyone's views. Now, not everybody's views will align with what we think, but the honesty in approach in incorporating people have different views, their stakeholders, shareholders, workers, political parties, companies, Chamber of Commerce, everyone has come and given suggestions, and we have tried to incorporate most of these views as we formulated the bill. And I would like to assure to you, sir, this House, that while this bill is being passed today, in the process of making these rules, a lot of members also mentioned about the number of rules that need to be prescribed. I want to assure honourable members that while we draft the rules, once this bill is passed, we will put on the website the various rules that we are drafting, and again solicit all your views to see how various changes that we made today and all the inputs that you are getting will be able to formulate that. Because sir, this bill is not just the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. This bill is not just the Government of India. This bill will usher in a new era for our nation, for our country, for our economy. And I think we all need to work together to make sure that this bill for the next 2 or 3 decades will really clearly outline the positivity in our economy. There is so much latent potential left in our economy to be tapped. And I think through this bill, we'll be able to harness those energies. So, Mr. Patel, जो बहुजन समाज पार्टी के हमारे माननीय सांसद हैं, उन्होंने बहुत जोश से इस बात को बोला कि जहां पर हम महिलाओं का प्रतिनिधित्व चाहते हैं बोर्ड के ऊपर, और मुझे खुशी है सर इस बिल के अंदर हमने प्रावधान रखा है कि सर्टेन क्लास ऑफ कंपनी कम से कम एक महिला आपको बोर्ड पे डायरेक्टर बनानी होगी. आप एक से ज्यादा बनाना चाहें वो आपकी श्रद्धा है, लेकिन कम से कम एक महिला आपको ऑन अ प्रिस्क्राइब्ड सेट ऑफ कंपनीज विल हैव टू पुट वन मेंबर एज अ वुमन मेंबर एज अ डायरेक्टर. बिकॉज सर जो जेंडर पैरिटी है देश में, आज हम लोग बहुत सारे हमारे सामने ऐसे हादसे आते हैं, हमें लगता है कि हमारा संस्कृति, हमारा इतिहास, जहाँ पे हमने महिलाओं को बहुत ऊंचे पदों पर रखा है, उनकी सोच हम देखते हैं, लेकिन हमारी कार्यप्रणाली में, हमारे कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर में यहाँ पर बहुत पैरिटी है, जहाँ पर महिलाओं का जो रिप्रेजेंटेशन है लगभग 0 के बराबर। उसमें बढ़ोतरी के लिए हम लोगों ने कहा है कि बड़ी कंपनीज रखेंगी और हम सब लोग अगर बाद में चाहेंगे तो उनका रिप्रेजेंटेशन और बढ़ा सकते हैं, लेकिन ये एक प्रावधान हम लेकर आए हैं। वहां पर आपने कहा है कि इसमें जो हम समाज जो दलित है या आदिवासी का है, SC/ST का है, वहां का रिप्रेजेंटेशन हम इंश्योर करें। मेरा सुझाव ये है बघेल साहब को कि जी, तो समाज का जो अलग अलग वर्ग है, हम चाहेंगे पहले की शुरुआत करें, हम कंपनी को एनकरेज करेंगे कि समाज के भिन्न अलग अलग जो हमारे पृष्ठभूमि के लोग आते हैं उनको भी मौका मिले, लेकिन कानून और प्रावधान के अंदर इस प्रकार स्पेसिफाई करना फिलहाल इन बिल और रूल्स के अंदर संभव नहीं होगा, लेकिन हम कंपनी को एनकरेज करेंगे चाहे दलित हो, गरीब हो, हर प्रकार की महिलाएं, हर प्रकार के लोगों को रिप्रेजेंटेशन बोर्ड पर मिले। सर, Mr. Rajesh is not here from the GPM. He made a few comments about the CSR issue. The corporate social responsibility is one issue that everyone is very, very keen and very interested in. I'd like to point out, sir, corporate social responsibility is now for the first time being put as a part of a statute. Sir, I would like to say from record my personal great appreciation for the amount of work the corporate sector has already done. There are innumerable examples that Indian corporate sector has contributed in doing social responsible behavior. We are providing for the first time to the corporate sector a structured format for them to report what it is that they're doing, and also to give a framework to the activities that the companies are able to do through their profits. Now, a certain type of companies will qualify to do CSR. 2% of the net profit has to be plowed back into the community. And I would like to make it clear that this 2% is not a cess, it is not a tax. This money does not come to the government of India or to any state government. This is the profit that the companies are earning. All we are wanting is that these companies should put this money as an investment into those communities where they are drawing their manufacturing, where they are earning revenues. And this figure of 2%, this concept of CSR is not something that we have developed in an opaque fashion sitting in one ministry or one room. This has been debated and talked about through the years when the bill was being formulated. Every discussion I have had, sir, with the corporate sector, I feel very encouraged that the Indian corporate sector is willing and more than willing to stand with it.
No, before that, only 1 minute, sir. I take 1 minute. Sir. I mean, all appreciation of our minister's reply.
No.
I am overwhelmed by his reply. Only one, what you call clarification, sir. In the name of CSR, sir, I have got an old. I have got no, Sumar, one thing, sir. I'll speak up. 1 minute, sir. In the name of CSR, corporate social responsibility, in my state, I got one very bad example. That I don't want to name the company. They are investing in non-useful, funny things without any consent of the government of India, and the money is being wasted.
Okay.
You phrase something. Thank you, sir.
CSR, as you all know, and his own party that have disturbed him.
No. Don't deal, sir. Mr. Minister, we have to pass it today, don't deal that.
In my view, I think all of you will agree, CSR is a new initiative, and I would urge all members to consider this as a leap of faith in our corporate sector. Let us not try and straitjacket the corporate sector in mandating so much that before this bill is made into law and before companies have a chance to demonstrate their commitment and loyalty to this nation, we start questioning them. I think the standing committee recommendation of having 2% net profit to be brought into CSR is a valid one. I think most members have supported it, and I believe that as time goes on, you will have many more occasions to give more input and we'll tweak the rules as we go along. But today, for the sake of passing of this bill, I think the provision of 2% net profit going back into communities, and the bill clearly states that the companies will endeavor to spend the money in their area of operation. So wherever they're operating, they will have to declare on the website the amounts of work they're doing, the timeline, the cost, and we're mandating a CSR committee on the board. So the committee has to approve the project, and then those projects, I've urged the corporate sector to keep these projects very, very specific, timeline driven, and also outcome driven. So we know whether you want to make a school or a hospital or protect the environment or do some other area of work, the freedom to choose the area of work should be with the company, but there must be enough disclosure so that the world at large, shareholders and all of us know that the good work that companies are doing is reported on the company website and our own website. Sir, we do not want to create an inspectorate. We don't want to have notice and certificates from the government. I think we should allow the corporate sector to come forward and work, and in time we'll see in next year or two how things evolve. At that point, we can revisit the issue if may be required. Sir, some of the other members who made few points, of course, Mr. N.K. Singh gave very, very pertinent inputs about the things that he wants clarification on. There was a whole list of 10 or 12 things that he wanted to get clarification. But it's suffice to say, independent directors. We have said that 1/3 of the board should have independent directors, and the definition of independent directors should really mean what it says. They should be independent, because we want independent, unbiased views on the board, so that there is transparency in its functioning, and the liabilities of the director will pertain only to the board meetings he or she attends and to the area of functionality that he or she attaches herself to. One other point was made by one of the members, that independent directors should get ESOPs. ESOPs are the employee stock options. Now the word employee, independent directors are not employees. So I don't know how we can treat independent directors as employees and allow them to have stock options. So I think it is not semantics, PUC. The fact is, independent director is not an employee of the company. No, I think you will agree with me. And sir, I have to say, Piyush Goyal ji, of course, is known to be one of the brightest chartered accountants in Mumbai. But I think over time he's become a better parliamentarian. So his job between an accountant and parliamentarian is a tough one to decide. But he's done a good job in batting for the profession of chartered accountant. Mr. Raja also mentioned a few things. Mr. Raja, of course, mentioned a few very important issues about the workers. So in this bill, there is a provision for the employees and the workmen to have a employee welfare trust, in which the employees will, through the trust, be able to buy shares of companies and become owners of the company in some shape or form. There is also provision to safeguard the employees' wages and salaries in case of liquidation or the company winding up. So up to 2 years of the wages of employees will be guaranteed over the secured creditors in case of winding up of a company. So while we want to create an environment where workers and employees get all the benefits from this company's bill, we're also, while I haven't gone into too much detail about the CEO's compensation, but we have made it in this bill a part of our bill that the ratio of remuneration of each director to the median employee's salary has to be disclosed. So what the directors are making in terms of compensation and what the average employee is making, that ratio has to be disclosed by the company to the people, so that we know what is the difference between the average employee's wage and the salary that the directors are getting. There is a provision for minority shareholders. One member of parliament mentioned about the minority shareholders and what sort of rights they have. So we have given the option for companies to have a director who represents the minority shareholders. So unfortunately, in the last few years, we have come across many instances of fraud. For the first time in this bill, the word fraud is defined. We have now actually in English defined the word fraud in companies law, so that there is no ambiguity in what is fraud and what is not fraud. And I'm of the view, sir, whenever corporate fraud is detected, whenever a scam breaks out, it is at that point that we all rush to capture the person responsible, all agencies go after the individual and the company. But I'm of the opinion that we must devise mechanisms and interministerial, interstate, center and state agencies so that we can detect fraud before it happens. When you want to use technology, we have also started some new initiatives to detect fraud, because by using technology, you're able to see those red flags before the scam breaks out or before the fraud really happens. So just very quickly about a few things in the winding up. Now, in India, people sometimes say it's very difficult to start a company, but almost impossible to wind up a company. In the bill, there is a provision that faster winding up of companies will happen. We are creating the NCLT. The CLT will then cease to exist, and an NCLT will be created where faster redressal of issues. So it's important to give the investing community, the manufacturing community, the business community, the sense of comfort that these cases will not be procrastinated forever. Early winding up, quick mergers, short acquisitions, cross-border mergers, quick disposal of cases, quick winding up of companies when they want to wind up, all these are a part of the new companies bill. So, one honourable member of parliament mentioned about, we also have, sir, about the auditors. It has come through the signing committee also, that after a few number of years, the auditors need to be rotated. And I think that works very well, because after 5 years, it's about time that the auditors rotate themselves and the companies are able to get new auditors so that there is authenticity and there is this credibility in the reporting. Any sort of collusion that might happen will get mitigated once the auditors are rotated every 5 years. So many more points have been talked about, and many more issues that have been outlined by honourable members of parliament. I want to thank Prabha Thakurji, Anil Desai ji, of course, our good friend Piyush Goyal ji, Mr. Raja, Mr. Mahapatra, Mr. N.K. Singh, Mr. Gupta from the PMC, Mr. Ganguly, Mr. Rajiv, and of course Mr. Iyer, who have made important contributions in making this bill come to the stage. Finally, our friend from Sikkim, I want to assure him that this bill has already been passed by the Lok Sabha. And in the Constitution, Article 371F(k), it says all laws in force immediately before the appointed day in the territories comprised in the state of Sikkim or any part thereof shall continue to be enforced until amended or repealed by a competent legislative authority, which is the Parliament of India. So when this bill was passed in Lok Sabha, we did not hear a formal communication from the state of Sikkim or from the Honourable MP, but I want to assure our colleague from Sikkim that before the notifications are issued, I will personally consult with the state government in Sikkim and with the Chief Minister and himself and see any issues that have not been addressed, we'll certainly take into account. But I would also like to assure the Honourable MP that once this bill comes into effect, it will not only help the rest of India, but it will also help the state of Sikkim to get more investment, to have a more cohesive regulatory environment that is in tune with the rest of our country. This bill was made in 1956, the Act, and the Act in Sikkim came in 1961. But this bill, once made into Act, will also take into consideration all the issues that may come out from Sikkim, but I'm happy to work with the MP and making this as pertinent for Sikkim as it is for the rest of India. Yeah. So before I finish, I would be failing in my duties if I don't recognize the hard work that my predecessors have put in making this bill a reality. Mr. Moily, Mr. Khurshid, Mr. Gupta, Mr. Deora, they were all Ministers of Corporate Affairs before I took charge of this ministry, and they've all added great contributions to make this bill reach the stage today. We waited 8 months from that house to this house, but this bill has waited 60 odd years to come to this stage. I think it's a historic moment for our economy, for our country, and I, from the bottom of my heart, want to thank the chair and all the MPs who stayed till late and contributed and participated in this debate. I wish to work with you as we make the rules And in time to come, anything that the bill and the law needs to be taken into consideration with all your inputs, I'll be very happy to receive them. And I wish to once again thank everyone who's taken part in this bill, and I propose that the bill be passed.
Thank you, Mr. Sachin. The question is that Companies Bill 2012 as passed by Lok Sabha be taken into consideration. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it, the motion is adopted. We shall now take up clause by clause consideration of the bill. Clause 2 stands part of the bill. There is one amendment by Sri H.A. Lechappa. Are you moving? Not. Are you moving? Yes. You are withdrawing?
Yes. I withdraw the notice of amendment on the assurance given by the Honorable Minister in this House. So the assurance, therefore, should be complied in letter and spirit. Thank you.
I hope the House will have the permission for him to withdraw. So amendment is withdrawn. I shall now put clause 2 to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against will say no. I think the ayes have it, clause 2 is adopted. Clause 3 to 41 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, clause 3 to 41 are adopted. Clause 42 stands part of the bill. There is one amendment. Sri V.P. Singh Badno. No, speak now. No, of course, you have to explain it. Otherwise, how does it know? Sir, in this process, sir, if I don't explain it, how do you put it to vote? This is not done. Are you moving? Sir, I am talking about the non-banking financial companies. They have already got an exemption under section 67(3), and here it is only 50 placements. They will be ruined. They will not be able to really raise money. That is the point that I have been trying to raise. And let the minister answer this. Are you worried about non-banking financial companies, how will they be able to function with a restriction of 50? Okay. It can never happen. And they already had an exemption under 67(3). Okay.
Non-banking finance companies. As you are aware, there are many companies who have tried to misuse the current provisions in raising money from people. This provision is there to have stricter enforcement of the compliances that companies need to do. This is not the NBFCs can raise money. The 50 ki figure hai, that is at one time. How many times in a year, that is not yet decided, but when the rules are being made, we take into account the request of the NBFC to make sure that people who are genuinely raising money in the right fashion and not trying to defraud people, those companies will not be hampered at all.
So you are withdrawing? Yeah. Yes. I hope the House has the permission for his withdrawing. Now, I shall now put clause 42 to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it, clause 42 is adopted. Clause 43 to 134 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it, clause 43 to 134 are adopted. Clause 135 stands part of the bill. There is one amendment, Sri P. Raji. He is not present. So amendment is not moved. I shall now put clause 135 to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it, clause 135 is adopted. Clause 136 to 233 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it, clause 136 to 233 are adopted. Clause 234 stands part of the bill. There is one amendment, number 12 by Sri P. Raji. He is not present, so amendment is not moved. I shall now put the clause 234 to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it, clause 234 is adopted. Clause 235 to 276 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it, clause 235 to 276 are adopted. Now clause 277 stands part of the bill. There is one amendment. Amendment by Sri P. Raji. He is not present. so amendment not moved. I shall now put clause 277 to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it, clause 277 is adopted. Clause 278 to 280 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it, clause 278 to 280 are adopted. Clause 281 stands part of the bill. There is one amendment, Sri Rajiv. It is not present, so amendment not moved. I shall now put clause 281 to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it, clause 281 is adopted. Clause 282 to 464 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it, clause 282 to 464 are adopted. Now, clause 465 stands part of the bill. There are two amendments. Amendment number 20 and 21 by Sri Isne Luchappa. Present. Member is not present, so amendments not moved. I shall now put clause 465 to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it. Clause 465 is adopted. Clause 466 to 470 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it. Clause 466 to 470 are adopted. The Schedule 1 stands part of the bill. There are 5 amendments, numbers 3 to 7 by 3 Sachin Pilot. Do you move?
I move it.
Amendments move. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it. Amendments are adopted. I shall now put the Schedule 1 as amended to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it. The schedule as amended is adopted. The Schedule 2 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it. Schedule 2 is adopted. The Schedule 3 stands part of the bill. There is one amendment, number 8 by Sri Sachin Pilot. Yes, amendment moved. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it. Amendment is adopted. I shall now put the Schedule 3 as amended to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it. Schedule 3 as amended is adopted. Schedule 4 stands part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it. Schedule 4 is adopted. The Schedule 5 stands part of the bill. There is one amendment by Mr. Sachin Pilot. Number 9.
I move the amendment.
Amendment moved. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it. Amendment is adopted. I shall now put Schedule 5 as amended to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it. Schedule 5 as amended is adopted. Schedule 6 stands part of the bill. There are 4 amendments. Number 15 to 18 by Sri P. Rajiv. He is not present, so amendments not moved. I shall now put Schedule 6 to vote. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say no. I think the ayes have it. Schedule 6 is adopted. Schedule 7 stands part of the bill. There is one